should take this back to my place. That's what she said right to my face. 'Cause I want you back. Yeah, I want you, baby. I've been thinking about it all day, and I hope you feel the same way. 'Cause I want you back. Yeah, I want you, baby. Slow, slow hands, like sweat dripping down our dirty laundry. No, no chance that I'm leaving here without you on me. I know, yeah, I already know that there ain't no stopping your plans and those slow hands. I just wanna take my time. We could do this, baby, all night. Yeah. 'Cause I want you back. Yeah, I want you, baby. Slow, slow hands, like sweat dripping down our dirty laundry. No, no chance that I'm leaving here without you on me. I know, yeah, I already know that there ain't no stopping your plans and those slow hands. Fingertips putting on a show. Got me now and I can't say no. Wanna be with you all alone. Take me home, take me home. Fingertips putting on a show. Can't you tell that I want you, baby? Yeah. Slow hands, like sweat dripping down our dirty laundry. No, no chance that I'm leaving here without you on me. I know, yeah, I already know that there ain't no stopping. Slow hands, like sweat dripping down our dirty laundry. No, no chance that I'm leaving here without you on me. I know, yeah, I already know that there ain't no stopping your plans and those slow hands. Slow hands. Slow hands. Hello, hello. Oop. Hello, hello, hello. Cool. So welcome to my first ever live stream. I hope this is all coming through and working. As far as I can tell, it is. Sweet. I'm not expecting many people watching live today, seeing as it's going to patrons only, and I've really only just started my Patreon account. So for anyone who does tune in today, fantastic. That's awesome to have you here. I'm loving that I have some patrons. I think it's really amazing that you guys are, keen to support me and willing to do so. So that's been super encouraging. But yeah, I just thought I'd kind of get this live stream kickstarted and get it going. And so today, essentially, I'm going to do a bit of screen sharing with you, show you how I start recording a new cover. And I will start recording a new cover. I've done a little bit on this, just some preparation work so far, where I'm actually going to do a Taylor Swift / Bon Iver or Justin Vernon song, Exile, today, which I'll hopefully have posted by next week, and get to my other Patreon supporters by maybe early next week. We'll see how we go for early access, and then a few days later we'll go to YouTube. But this live stream will be available to just live only to my tier 3 and up to start off with, and then later I'll put it up for the rest of my patrons, and then eventually I'll make it available to everyone on YouTube as well, just to kind of see how it goes, what traction I get, what people are interested in, what they're not interested in. This is pretty much a test run, so I'd love to see any comments of requests for future live streams, for future covers and songs, what you liked, what you didn't like, yeah, throw it all at me. We'll see how we go with this in the future. So I know there's a bit of background noise at the moment. I do apologize for that. It's kind of raining here a bit today, so I'm getting a bit of background noise, but I'm just kind of doing a rough recording today that will then get polished off before it goes into a video. And I might show some of that, like the progress of how I go through that. So I'll do just, the rough recording today for you. We'll have, half an hour to an hour or so for this live stream. And then maybe I'll do some small bits and pieces over the coming week as I do, some polishing off, give you guys some sneak peeks at the song as it slowly progresses and gets closer to being finished. And then I might even show you some of the actual video recording process as well. Show you how that all fits together and works. I definitely do not claim to be a pro at any of this. I'm still kind of figuring it all out myself. So if anybody who ends up watching this has advice for me on mixing music, on I would love to learn more about EQing to get a track, mastering a track to get it sounding better, and then any tips for any part of the process. I'm definitely just keeping it fairly basic at the moment because my tools are relatively basic, but I'm doing the best I've got with what I've got, I should say. So I'll do a little bit of a quick introduction for myself as well. So my name's Will. I started Wild Straw Music a while ago, actually. It's been kind of on and off. Originally, actually, before I get into this, I'm just going to double check the YouTube feed and make sure it's all coming through for you guys. We got sound? We got sound. Cool. All right. Too easy. I actually originally started this off. I quit my job at I was working at a local music store here in Canberra, which is where I live, where I'm based. And I actually finished up my job at that store to start doing more live gigging as well as photography and videography work, which I'd been doing with that music store as well. I'd been helping run their YouTube channel, doing video reviews of products and things like that. So I left that job and was contracting to them to do more of that. And then I also started doing some live gigs at pubs and bars and things like that, which was so much fun. I loved it. But I ended up packing that in for a steadier paycheck at the time. So I actually started working for Apple, and I worked for Apple for about 4 years. And I didn't have the energy to do live gigs and things like that alongside working for Apple full time. So it kind of all got put on the back burner with regards to my own business. I also play and lead music with my church, Divergent Church here in Canberra, and Queanbeyan as well. And I've been doing that since I was about 15. And a little more backstory. I was also busking back when I was in high school as well. So my music background, I started playing guitar when I was 6, more classical guitar at the time, and then kind of taught myself a little bit more of, I guess, pop style, chords and that fun stuff, and sadly lost a lot of my classical background. I can't remember much to do with theory, so I have been trying to pick up on the theory side of things again recently. But yeah, back to now. Essentially, I worked for Apple for 4 years, and then I decided it was time to pursue what I loved instead of just working a job that wasn't bringing me a lot of joy. So I have an amazing wife who was happy to support me through that, and I quit my job 3 months ago. Was a little while after kind of lockdowns had kind of ended here in Canberra, tried to get this all back off the ground again, and then very quickly the Delta strain hit, unfortunately, that just stopped everything again. So I had originally been doing some covers over the last year or two. I hadn't put much together. I'd only done maybe 3 videos, I think, of some cover songs, and I'd originally been putting those together to basically show to clients, to pubs, bars, people who were planning weddings, whatever it was. I was putting those videos together just so I could show a little bit of what I did, how I sound, what I'm, what I do, what kind of music I enjoy playing, etc. it was then, during this lockdown that I kind of just went, stuff it. I'm gonna start putting a heap of videos together. There's nothing else I can do at the moment. I'll just start recording more covers. So I haven't, again, I'm very early on in this still. This is only over the last month or two that this has kind of been happening. And I'm slowly trying to get that all together and, figure out how that works as well. And yeah, had a friend who I met up with a friend who just said, why don't you consider doing a Patreon site? Get a Patreon page going, see if anyone would like to support you. And so, yeah, I figured why not? It doesn't cost me anything to have a Patreon aside from losing a bit of the money that I'd potentially get from people, but it's all a benefit, right? So set up the Patreon page, just to kind of, see if anybody was interested, see what traction I could get. And yeah, that's where we are now, I guess. Now I've kind of still figuring out, I guess, what my niche is, what I can offer to this market, I guess. So currently, I figured I'd give some live streaming a go. I've been doing live streaming with my church for the last year or so. So I've got a bit of experience with doing live streaming, but haven't been actually in front of the camera, I should say. I've always been behind the camera or behind the computer for those. So this is my first ever live stream where I am the sole focus, and that's a bit scary. But it's going to be a fun journey. We'll see where we end up. I'd love feedback. I'd love any way you can push me to branch out into other things, or give me advice, or requests for anything. I'd be really keen to try and find what I can offer in this market, in this workspace, and see what I can help you guys out with. Maybe it's even just simply a bit of entertainment, considering the current climate. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. Fingers crossed, lockdowns are ending this week. I've already got some interest for some gigs next year, so I'm hoping to start getting that off the ground. I'd love to. I keep my patrons all a part of that, even my YouTube and Facebook audience, when you guys see this as well. Definitely I'll keep everyone in the loop as to what I'm working on and what I'm doing. But yeah, this is essentially step one, and we'll see where we go from here. But yeah, as I said, I'm going to record a bit of Exile by Taylor Swift today. So that's my next cover. Again, with regards to covers, I'll start putting some polls on the Patreon page for certain tiers to vote on. If you've got any suggestions for song covers, I've got a little board over here that you can see in the background of my weekly schedule, and I'm starting to add cover ideas to that as well. So if you've got any ideas, I would love to start getting a backlog together. So the more ideas you can throw at me, we'll start voting on those and seeing what options are going to suit my style and what I can pull off. But sometimes being stretched is good. So throw some weird ones in there that you'd like to see covered as well. But yeah, look, I've got a screen share going up. So I've been recording all of my stuff through Logic. So I've got a Logic project set up here. All my audio that I'm sending through to this live stream is coming from Logic, so you'll be able to hear kind of the raw inputted sound with a bit of effect on it, but obviously things change as I mix and master the songs, so it won't sound exactly like the finished product. It will sound a little bit raw. And yeah, look, I've had to kind of pump up this. I'm quite a loud singer. I've had one of my friend's children laugh or make the statement that I sound like I'm yelling when I sing. So I have quite a loud voice. So that's why my mic kind of has to be pulled up a lot for my talking right now. But it will get pulled down a fair bit for my singing when I'm recording. But basically what we've got here is I just recorded a basic run through of Exile. I've actually decided I'm going to do it in like a half a step higher key wise, so I'm going to record over this stuff. But yeah, I'm still kind of figuring out what works best for me in this recording workflow as well. I've kind of tried a few different ways. When you're learning a song, you kind of sometimes get a bit lost with what comes next. And so when a song's still fairly fresh and new to me, I kind of need some vocal cues or something to cue me as what's next, especially because I'm usually recording my guitar on its own and my vocals on their own. Don't record them at the same time, just so that I can get kind of the best sound out of each one without them bleeding into the other. So I've been trying a few different things. What I've done for Exile here is I've actually just done a full run through of recording both at the same time, along with a click track for keeping myself in time, so that I can re-record over it easily without having to worry about myself fluctuating tempo wise too much throughout a recording. And then I've actually gone through and just created vocal cues. So these vocal cues, I'll give you a quick idea. This might sound really silly, but let me just solo. Oops. Sorry, I can't solo that on its own. But these vocal cues are just things like this. Verse 1. Verse 1.2. Chorus. So yeah, it might sound a little bit funny or a little bit silly, but it's something that people who perform live with bands might have come across before when you're doing like a backing track, and if you're playing along with a click track. I know a lot of churches do this. I'm just going to adjust my camera a bit. It's got a bit dark. It's a miserable day outside, so I'm surprised the light's changing too much because it's pretty much just fully overcast. But yeah, the people who play with church bands might be familiar with these kind of vocal cues, prior to a verse coming up, and they can kind of be triggered, and you'll have somebody in your ear saying chorus, and you'll know what comes up at the start of the next bar, so you know where you're going. So I've kind of just made that myself to give me a little heads up of where I'm going when I'm, say, playing guitar. When I'm recording a guitar track, I record a guitar left and then a guitar right. Just when you pan those two tracks a little bit, it gives you a nice kind of beefier sound than just a single mono, essentially, because guitar on its own is not stereo. Compared to a single mono track of guitar, if you can try and get two very similar guitar tracks and then pan them left and right, just makes that sound a lot bigger behind the vocals. So doing that with a click track makes that way easier, because you know that you're keeping those two tracks in time with each other. A little bit of variance in the two tracks does make them kind of sound nice as well. It gives a stereo effect as well, to be able to kind of hear two different things going on in each ear. And then, so to make sure that I'm playing the same thing on both guitars, those little vocal cues really help me. So I've been kind of playing around with that as an idea of something to do, and that's kind of how I'm testing this one. So what I'm going to do with this one, though, is, as I said, I'm going to go through and record both guitar and vocals at once, and then essentially I'll go back and re-record the guitar over the top of that for both left and right channel, and then re-record the vocals over that as well. Essentially, the first record through is mainly so that I can kind of get my head around the arrangement, decide if I'm happy with that arrangement. I'm going with it's essentially identical to their arrangement, as in Justin Vernon's and Taylor Swift's arrangement for the song. But yeah, I want to make sure that when I go through and do a full playthrough of that, I'm happy with that arrangement. Still kind of figuring out a few things with the last chorus and outros, so they will likely change as well, but that's really easy when you've got a click track. I can kind of jump in and just kind of pick up with the tempo rather than having to do a full track recording. But yeah, I might show you some of that later down the track when I get to that. So this is going to be really rough. My vocals are not warmed up or anything like that. I'm just going to do a very simple vocal take. But yeah, I'm going to get into it. So we're already 20 minutes in. Let's get this through. It's about a 3.5 minute song, I think. So just check my guitar's in tune. All right. actually just need to quickly listen to the song. I'm blanking on the start of it. Bear with me. I'm just going to mute so that I don't get any additional copyright infringements here. Alright, cool. I'll enable my vocals. So we've got vocal and guitar left, which we're recording. I've just got it centered at the moment so that I get a full sound in my ears. Same for you, so you guys hear it on both left and right as well. Look, I'll show you really quickly some of the previous one that I've recorded. Let's just go through that a bit. Alright, cool. Yeah, I don't want to... Alright, cool. I'm just going to go ahead and record this now. The drums that you hear in the background, that's my click track. That's what keeps me in time throughout the song. So that's not in the final version of the song. That's just there. I don't like the standard default click for Logic is like a it's a very mechanical electric sound. I much prefer to pretend like I'm playing along with a very boring drummer who's just hitting a cymbal and a kick. Yeah, let's go through. Let's get a first recording down here, and we'll see how we go. Oh yeah, that rain's picking up. So this vocal track's definitely not going to be usable because there's just way too much rain in the background, but that's fine. All right, here we go. Oh, whoopsie daisies, recording on the wrong track there. Let me record on the right track. Yeah, listen to that rain. Lovely. All right. I can see you standing, honey, with his arms around your body, laughing but the joke's not funny at all. And it took you 5 whole minutes to back us up and leave me with it, holding all this love out here in the hole. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. You're not my homeland anymore, so what am I defending now? You were my town, now I'm in exile, seeing you out. I think I've seen this film before. I can see you staring, honey, like it's just your understudy, like you get your knuckles bloody for me. The second, third, and 100th chances balancing on breaking branches. Those eyes add insult to injury. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. I'm not your problem anymore, so who am I defending now? You were my crown, now I'm in exile, see you out. I think I've seen this film before, so I'm leaving out the side door. So step right out, there is no amount of crying I can do for you. All this time, we always walked a very thin line. You didn't even hear me out. You never gave a warning sign. All this time, I never learned to read your mind. I couldn't turn things around. Never gave a warning sign. So many signs, so many signs. You didn't even see the signs. 'Cause I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. You're not my homeland anymore, so what am I defending now? You were my town, now I'm in exile, see you out. I think I've seen this film before, so I'm leaving out the side door. So step right out, there is no amount of crying I can do for you. All this time, you always walked a very thin line. You didn't even hear me out. You never gave a warning sign. All this time, never learned to read your mind. I couldn't turn things around, so you never gave a warning sign. All this time, never learned to read your mind. I couldn't turn things around. You never gave a warning sign. Realized I entirely forgot to pull down the gain of my microphone, which I needed to do to sing that loud, just like I said earlier. So that's way too loud. So I'm leaving out the side door. So step right out. Yeah, we got some clipping there, but that's fine because, as I said, that's not the last recording there anyway. But that was really quite rough, but that's fine. Okay. Just having a look at something else here. Bear with me. Oh, cool. So, yeah, look, that's essentially like a really rough recording. I'm going to need to go through and do that again. But at least now you have some idea. Let me just get back to the live stream. Let's do that instead. That's a bit louder. Yeah, so it's a really rough recording of the song once through. Hey, Rob. Thanks for joining in, man. It's good to see you, or at least see your comments. Yeah, but essentially that's kind of a quick run through. So, Rob, you've just missed that there. Here we go. Look at that. You've got a shout out, Rob. Thanks, mate. Love your work. So essentially from there, as I was saying before, I'll go through and re-record the vocals, I'll re-record the left channel of the guitar, and I'll record a right channel of the guitar. I'm going to do some like finger picking rather than just strumming at the beginning. But as I said, that first run through is really just for me to make sure I've got the arrangement down, make sure I'm happy with it. I'll listen back to that a few times. And then go from there. And then once I've kind of recorded everything, Logic has some really cool features for multi-takes where you can kind of go through and pick the best of each take. So no, it's a lie that most vocalists get it on the first take. I just don't think it happens. I certainly don't. Those who do, congrats to you. You're awesome, because I don't get it in one take usually. Which, considering I perform live a lot, mainly, I mean, that just means I guess I have to be sorry for my live audience, because you're getting the raw will, not the recorded will. But I'll kind of leave it at that for the moment, I think, because there's not too much else I need to go over. I'll really quickly, let me get the additional camera here, and I'll show you a bit of my setup around my little studio here. It's relatively neat today, so I don't need to be too concerned about showing off anything too dirty. I'll just connect my phone in for an additional camera here. Bear with me. All right, ooh, we're upside down. Hey, there we go. So that's what I'm looking at. I've got my interface here. I'm using a Steinberg, the UR22, which is a cool little 2-channel interface. I've got a headphone amp there and just a MIDI keyboard for, whatever fun MIDI keyboard stuff I want to do. Rocking some dual screens, but then you guys have probably already seen on my other videos my little studio here. Sorry, I'm getting away from the microphone. But yeah, there's certainly no acoustic treatment or anything going on here. It's very raw, very basic, but it does the job for me, and I think it kind of goes with my relaxed vibe to everything I kind of do in that way. I really like, not getting too serious about it, but having some fun with it as well. Yeah, so that's kind of my very basic, quick little setup. Yeah, that gives you some more behind the scenes of kind of what else happens in my little studio here. Currently, I actually have my wife working just down the hallway from me here. So I gave her a bit of heads up and let her know to make sure she didn't interrupt the live stream at all. But yeah, look, I think I'm going to leave it there for the moment. Yeah, Rob, feel free to go back and watch from the beginning there if you want to. Hopefully I don't bore you too much for the 33 minutes that it's been running for. But yeah, I'd love to see you guys leave some comments on the video. Let me know what you thought of this first live stream, what you'd like to see in the future. Yeah, sorry for the extremely rough vocals and guitar playing there. That was very much a first run through in the nerves of a live stream for me as well. But yeah, thanks so much for joining, guys, and I'll hopefully see you over the coming few days. We'll try and get some more live streams happening for some quick behind the scenes as well, as I continue recording this song. Awesome. Thanks.